Kanina pala yung si Attorney. Prof,
Sa attorney supli ko yun.
Prof, si President Donald Trump, parang bit-bit niya yung buong ekonomiya ng Estados
Oo.
Unidos nang pumunta po sila diyan sa China. Nakita ko nga ang nag-viral sa social media yung pagkamangha ng mga taga-Amerika sa China. Ano pong ipinapahiwatig nito yung mga bilyonaryo, mga sabi ko nga ekonomiya, buong ekonomiya na ata yun ng Estados Unidos ay dala-dala niya sa China.
Yes, tawag nito, ang dala-dala nga niya talaga yung mga big time businessmen at saka corporations, mga CEO ng corporations sa Beijing yesterday. At ngayon tapos na ata yung kanilang state visit ni Trump at saka yung summit ng mga businessmen. So ano ibig sabihin nun? Grabe, big time, no? Ang mga dala-dala ni Trump dito sa Beijing. Ang ibig sabihin lang nun na kailangan talaga nilang, kailangan nilang China for their big businesses. Kasi nga, ang alam ko, ang China medyo nag-reduce at saka hindi na masyadong bumibili at ng mga goods dun sa mga big corporation, especially when you talk about AI and information technology related na mga items. So in that way, tawag nito, kaya niya dala-dala yung mga yan kasi gusto niya na, siguro negotiations at saka concession na bumili kayo sa amin or dito sa mga kampanya na to ay kailangan magkaroon din ng presence sa China at magkaroon ng market. Kasi basically, it's all about markets and alam naman natin na ang China is a huge market given that it's huge population, and huge it's a huge economy as well. And I think in terms of population, it's way bigger than the United States. So, yun yung ibig sabihin no na business ang punta ni Trump aside from diplomacy, it's really all about business and of course the businesses are related to the economy. So it's more like that. Yeah.
Tapos yung mga pahayag pa niya, yung mga sinasabi niya, kontrolado. Unlike noong panahon na talagang nagpataw siya ng malalaking taxes, no, kabilang yung China, parang hindi na yata maisa sa katuparan kasi yun nga, bakit mo dala-dala yung buong ekonomiya mo sa China kung ikaw ay gusto mong i-implement yung ganong klase ng taxes ngayon na nabanggit nyo nga po na bumaba na yung kanilang kumbaga ang China towards sa US, baka yun yang dahil sa mga trade war na yan ngayon sinusuyo na nila ang China. Pero ang napansin ko rin po, Prof, parang every malalaking mga industriya sa US meron na rin counterpart ang China Kumbaga wala ka nang ibang hahanapin, 'di ba? Halimbawa, ang sikat na sikat, 'di ba?
There's such a thing as self-sufficiency. At saka may self-sufficiency sila at saka yung kanilang they have the strongest and a wider and more integrated supply chain network also. So actually hindi nila they can actually survive at diversified din ang trade nila. Marami silang kumbaga diversified in a sense na hindi sila naka-focus sa Amerika, sa US, kundi malaki ang trade nila with, let us say, ASEAN countries, even Latin Americans and African countries. So, in a way, may leverage ang China when you talk about economics and trade. So, kaya yung mga sinasabi ni Trump na mga imposition of tax, when you talk about export of goods ng China to the United States, I don't think really that yung pressure na ganun is aanuhin ng China, kakagatin ng China kasi they can actually ignore US products kasi meron din silang dinidevelop sa sarili nila na kanila na the same lang naman ang produkto with US products pero on the other hand, in terms naman of export of their products, mayroon silang diversified markets from other parts of the world. So in a way, kahit anong economic pressure or trade pressure through the trade war ng United States with China na i-impose or ipuput forward ng United States against China, I don't think it would really work maybe long term or medium term. In the long run, medyo, pero medium term to long term, I don't think it will work. So, ganun yun. Kaya nga si Trump, di ba, kung makikita mo, grabe, big time ng mga corporations and mga CEOs ang kasama niya sa Beijing. Nakita mo nga, 'di ba, pati nga si BYD ba 'yon, yung si Elon Musk nandun, oo, kasama.
Tesla.
Hindi
BYD
BYD,
sa
kasi
China.
ang BYD is China.
Opo.
Ang Tesla is
Si Elon
United
Musk.
States.
Opo.
Oo, si Elon Musk. At saka tingnan mo yung mga yung mga big time. I think Microsoft was also there.
Opo.
And also
Apple.
Apple, oo. Basta yung mga big companies na very important sa US economy is kasama ni Trump.
Opo.
Yun yung
Nakikita nyo rin po, Prof, na may factor din po yung nangyari din sa Iran kung bakit ganito. Kasi apektado rin yung kanilang ekonomiya at pwede rin ba na umaray din itong mga malalaking negosyante na ito kaya napasama din sila dyan sa treatment. Maaring ganun din po ba? Or may factor din po yung ganun na...
Well, I think ang Iran issue is one of the most important issue na na-discuss between President Xi and President Trump. I would assume. Pero I think when you talk about the business part, I don't think kasama yon. I think ang mga businessmen, CEOs, they talk to their counterparts na mga business community sa China na in-invite din sa Beijing because of this meeting. Pero I think when you talk about the Iran crisis between the United States and Iran, I think they discuss it. I would presume. Pero wala kasi masyadong sinabi sa official statement kung ano talaga ang diniscuss nila about this matter. Pero definitely, I think China will bring it up as part of the discussion, and I think it's more about de-escalation of conflict, and I think it's also has something to do, I think, kasi ang China, mayroon silang interest sa Iran when you talk about supply of oil from Iran to China. So in a way, siguro, napag-usapan din na yung kanilang mga Chinese tankers should not be intercepted or can freely come and go from Iran. Kasi may mga bagay means before, kumbaga few weeks back na parang may nangyari sa isang Chinese tanker na tinira ata ng US into something like that. So definitely I think it was discussed by the two presidents, and at the same time it's more about the escalation of tension. Kasi nga apektado din naman ang China, though ang China, it's not really affected in the same manner na affected ang Pilipinas or other countries kasi they are more secured when it comes to energy because their energies are diversified, and in terms naman of agriculture, they have a very good agricultural sector. Pero I think it's more about oil, really.
Opo. Pero ang isa talaga sa highlights ng nangyaring pagpupulong nila, yes, kasama yung Iran, pero nabanggit mo nga, less naman yung epekto nito sa China, ay ito nga pong issue dyan sa Taiwan na ito ata yung una agad na brinot up nitong China, na ang quote-unquote dito kasi is clashes and even conflicts, nagbigay ng warning ang China, ang presidente mismo dito. Kaya napapansin ko kahit sa pagtatanong ng mga Western media, for sure, yung mga nagtatanong habang nagpapapicture sila, ina-update, ano ba, napag-usapan ba ang tungkol sa Taiwan, pero nakita natin na kontrolado nila yung kanilang mga pahayag. Mas nababanggit pa nga yung sa Iran compare dito sa issue ng Taiwan, Prof.
Oo, I think Taiwan is one. Ang Taiwan, I think na issue is the most important issue na as far as China is concerned, na China brought it up with President Xi brought it up with President Trump. I think yun ang pinaka-crucial na issue when you talk about security or geopolitics na between China and the United States. I think yun kasi yun ang unang binanggit. Kasi nga may mga pronouncement din kasi ang ilan sa mga official under Trump administration na may kinalaman sa Taiwan before nangyari yung summit 2 days yesterday and today, roughly today din. Kaya siguro yun ang unang binanggit. At saka alam naman natin, when you talk about the Taiwan issue, the United States is part of it in many ways. Kasi sila ang pinaka-big brother ng tinatawag mong quote-unquote island government ng Taiwan. Kaya may ganun ka. So, in a way, yun talaga, i-bring up ni tawag nito, ni President Xi saying, and actually it's more like a warning, hindi naman warning, but parang reminder. Siguro na sinasabi lang niya kay Trump na, itong issue na to, siya, off-touch. Kumbaga, hindi mo pwedeng galawin. Kasi as far as we're concerned, hindi siya negotiable. Kumbaga, lahat na lang pwedeng ma-negotiate, pero itong Taiwan it's a non-negotiable issue. Parang ganon. Yeah.
Opo. Prof, good evening sa MJ po ito. Sa issue po
Hi,
ng
MJ.
Iran war, sinabi po ng US na nagkasundo raw sila ng China na Iran should and will never have a nuclear weapon, sabi ng White House. Sa statement naman na pinost ng Chinese Foreign Ministry sa Twitter o sa X, wala namang nabanggit doon o hindi explicitly mentioned na dapat walang nuclear weapon ang Iran. Pero sinabi ng China na this conflict, which should never have happened, has no reason to continue. Ano ang analyzation nyo, ma'am, sa messaging ng US na ipinapakita na sa tao at itong messaging ng China? Ito pa, sinabi raw ni Trump na mag-order daw ang China ng 200 jets mula sa Boeing. US company yan. Nung naglabas ng pahayag ang China, walang binanggit na ganaong deal. Ang Boeing, wala ring update o wala ring confirmation. Mga ganong mga ganong optics. Iba yung optics talaga ng US, iba rin yung optics ng China. Pero makikita mo yung stance ng China para talaga sa kapayapaan.
Well, ang ano kasi dyan is kapag silent ang China, ibig sabihin hindi sigurado yun or walang ganun. Yan lang lagi yan. Pag hindi sila nagsalita on that or wala silang announcement, ibig sabihin either hindi totoo yan or either pinag-uusapan pa, under negotiation pa, or ang China mismo hindi siya sure about that specific thing. So, kahit in-announce pa ng United States yan, kung walang official pronouncement or statement as far as China is concerned, so, ibig sabihin, hindi siya 100% true. Maybe it was part of the discussion, maybe it was part of the negotiation, but in terms of agreement, wala pang solid agreement on that. So, I think that's much more the case. So, parang, kasi ang nangyayari lagi, si Trump ang we know Trump naman na very vocal at saka palagi siya, ang optics niya laging, alam mo yun, parang, let us say, sasabihin niya, we're good friends with this and that, pero actually siya lang nagsasabi noon. Yung counterpart hindi ganon ang tingin doon sa sinabi niya. So palaging ganon si Trump. So ang ano ko diyan, when you talk about if you want to know the truth or know kung tama, tignan niyo yung kabila. Kasi like for example, kung hindi ang China naglabas ng official statement on that, hindi yun yung sinabi ni Trump, hindi pa yun. Wala pa tayo doon. Parang ganun ang ibig sabihin nun. When you talk about a nuclear weapon naman, issue of Iran, na sinasabi naman ni Trump na nag-agree ang Iran that they will not have nuclear weapon, especially military. I'm not referring to energy, but military. Ang alam ko dyan, nag-back down ang negotiation. So ang sabi ng Iran, they will not kumbaga, ang sabi ng Iran, since yung negotiation about the nuclear weapon, walang nangyari doon kasi inatake nga sila, 'di ba? They were negotiating on that. Tapos bigla na lang binomba sila, inatake sila. So at the moment, when you talk about this negotiating points, I don't think ang alam ko, based dun sa mga nababasa ko na, well, hindi nilalathala sa atin, sa media natin, ang alam ko, Iran will have an upper hand when it comes to this kind of negotiations. So, hindi ko sure kung ang sinasabi ni Trump, iyon talaga ang stand ng Iran. And I think, sa China na side, yung spokesperson ng China, nagsabi siya na, very quiet siya on that issue. Wala kang nakita doon kung nag-comment sila kung tama si Trump or hindi or sinususugan nila si Trump or hindi. Very quiet ang China on that precisely because alam ng China kung anong stand ng Iran when it comes to this kind of issues na nuclear weapon or nuclear proliferation ng Iran. Kasi itong issue na to is it will go back to the negotiating table, especially now that we're trying to have the what you call political solution. Well, these countries are trying to have this political solution to the the Middle East conflict, and at the same time may tinatawag kang proposal na magkaroon ng de-escalation and ceasefire. So ganun 'yan. Pag isa lang ang nagsabi, hindi nagsabi yung kabila. Ibig sabihin, hindi pa yan, wala pa yan. At hindi natin alam kung mangyayari yan or may ganun talaga.
Opo, may mga sweet talk talaga ma'am, basta business meeting o business
Si
deal.
businessman kasi si
negosyante
salesman
talaga.
kasi si Trump eh. Businessman, salesman, so nagsi-sales talk.
Opo.
Parang ganun.
Ma'am, last lang mula sa akin, sinabi po ng China na dapat daw ang Turing sa kanila ay hindi po rival, kundi partner. Anong masasabi mo doon, ma'am? At gaano ito makakaapekto sa relasyon naman ng Pilipinas, US at ng China?
Magandang tanong yan. Kasi ganito yon. Ang mga superpowers like major, or what I say, superpowers or major powers in the world, especially now that you have two superpowers, no? I mean, I would consider China as one already in many respects. Hindi pa siya full-blown superpower. It has challenges, but I think I mean, generally speaking, it is a superpower already, especially when you talk about Asia. It's the superpower of Asia. In the world, I think it's rising as one. I think alam ng mga major powers or even nitong dalawang superpowers na and China from the perspective of China na alam nila na kapag nagbanggaan sila, magsalpukan ba, ang mangyayari kasi dyan, though pareha silang malakas, pero alam nila na it's a mutual destruction. Alam mo yon, it's a mutual destruction because both of you are very strong. So when you fight each other, maybe one will win, but that win is not really like a win because you will be destroyed as well, or there will be mutual destruction in that sense. So alam nila yan. So usually ang mga major powers do medyo may gitgitan, may confrontation, let us say in the economic side, sometimes a little of the military or security depends on the area, or sometimes they have this proxy war with, like for example, the Philippines is a frontline state of the United States, and Iran has allies as well, in that sense. Ang nangyayari kasi dyan is alam nila, pero alam din nila yung consequences. So, even though may mga ganun silang competition, they will talk and negotiate para hindi ma-mismanage ang tinatawag nilang strategic rivalry and competition. So, kaya may diplomacy. Kaya makikita mo, kahit na alam naman natin na adversarial pa rin ang relationship ng dalawang country, kahit baguhin mo yan, there's really some kind of adversarial relationship, love and hate relationship between China and the United States. At the end of the day, both president, even though si Trump may ganun siyang ugali, at saka medyo hindi mo erratic si Trump in terms of his leadership at saka personality ba. Pero makikita mo na at the end of the day, he knows that he needs to talk to China and he needs to talk to President Xi and agree on certain things and have that kind of diplomacy and open talk one-on-one and all face-to-face. Kasi alam din niya yung consequences if in any case they will have really that very strict and very fierce competition that it will escalate into a military one with China. Kasi alam din nila yung consequence sa kanila at sa kanilang ekonomiya at sa bansa nila. So may ganun ka na kahit na may gitgitan, may diplomacy pa rin. So in many ways, dito sa visit ni Trump, makikita mo na nananaig ang diplomacy ng dalawang bansa, ang pag-uusap, negotiation. Now, if you ask me about the Philippines with a foreign policy that is very much leaning to the United States, I think it's our disadvantage in many, many ways. It's our disadvantage. Why? It's because a small country like ours, we should not be in the middle, or we should not even be used, or we should not side with any country for that matter. It's good for us as a country to be in the middle, to be in neutral ground, to relate with each country depending on our national interests. Yun ang lagi kong sinasabi. The Philippines should not side with China, should not side with the United States. It should be pro-Philippines. It should have its own national interest at the forefront in establishing relationship with any country, especially with major powers. You negotiate from the position of strength. When I say position of strength, it means you have your own national interest. You hold on it, and you negotiate with any country, especially superpowers, based on national interests. But that is supposed to be our position. Kasi ngayon, let us say, si BBM very much leaning to the United States ang kanyang foreign policy, adversarial against China, tapos itong mga superpowers, may sarili silang mga national interest na pinoprotektahan para sa kanilang bansa, hindi naman para sa Pilipinas. So with the United States and China having very good relation at the moment with this visit, what happens to the Philippines? Do you really think Trump will compromise his friendship with President Xi and the relationship that, after the summit that is quite a little, well, let us say stable and at this time with after the visit, iko-compromise ng United States or ni Trump ang kanyang relationship with China after his visit but just because we are an ally of the United States? Para sa atin, I don't think so. I really don't think so. Walang ganon. Sa real life situation, when you talk about international relation and geopolitics, states would always be protecting their own national interests. They will not sacrifice the national interest for the sake of the Philippines. That will never happen in the real life situation with the current system, world system and situation that we have. So that's why I always speak that, the Philippines is a small country. It has a lot of problem domestically, politically, economically. Lahat na ng problema meron tayo. So when we talk about our relation with different countries, especially major powers, we should have an independent foreign policy, meaning independent really, neutral in many ways, and you have your national interests as the basis of your relationship with any powers, any major powers, and from that point of view, hindi ka dihado. So right now, ang tanong, okay ang mga bansa na China and US sa recent visit ni Trump, then what happens to the Philippines? Kasi tayo, we side with the United States trying to be an adversarial with China, pero itong United States and China, nagkakaintindihan pala, tapos tayo, ginagamit ng United States against China. So, ano yung advantage ng Philippines doon? Saan ka napunta? 'Di ba? Para kang parang kang disposable good. Ang dating ng Pilipinas in as far as as United States is concerned is disposable good. Ginagamit ka lang kung kailan kanila kailangan to pressure China, and then kapag sila okay na with China, o dyan ka na lang, bahala ka sa buhay mo muna. Mamaya na lang ulit kapag kailangan na kitang gamitin against China kasi kailangan namin ng something against China. So nagiging the United States are user-friendly naman, and I understand them from a national interest perspective. If you're an American, you will understand them. Pero if you're a Filipino, you should never agree with that because at the end of the day, ang kawawa talaga dyan ay ang Pilipinas at ang mga Pilipino. So ito yung mga bagay na yung administration ni BBM ay alam kong hindi naman sila they're not stupid people. They're intelligent, they are educated people, but the problem is they turn a blind eye to this reality when in fact alam nila yan na at the end of the day, a country like the Philippines, you need to survive on your own, and you relate with every countries in the world based on what are your national interests. Hindi yung tipong interest ng United States ang sinusulong mo, inaaway mo yung isang bansa na kung saan best friend naman pala sila ngayon ng bansa na yon. So parang ang kawawa naman ang Pilipinas, 'di ba? Na para kang lagi ginagawa kang punching bag, ginagamit ka, at the same time iniiwanan ka kapag okay na sila with yung sa kanilang perceived adversary or enemy, 'di ba? Parang ganoon ang nangyayari sa Pilipinas. So sa akin dapat palagi kong sinasabi, as a country, we need to be neutral. We don't need to take side. We relate with superpowers or major powers in the world based on our national interests, and if that is the case, then we gain respect from the international community. We gain dignity and credibility. It's important for a country to have that respect. And self-respect yan eh. Kung ikaw ay tao, pag country ka, that's self-respect and dignity. You don't need to bend to any country, but at the same time, you need to learn how to negotiate based on your national interest. Mas ganun ako eh, yung tingin ko dyan. So, ngayon, well, under BBM, para tayong kamote nito kasi si Trump at saka si President Xi, they're okay. And I think relatively speaking, okay naman ngayon ang US and China
Opo.
after the summit. So, ano lang nangyari sa Pilipinas? Nakikipag-away pa rin ang BBM admin most of the time sa China, sa issue ng South China Sea, kung ano-ano pa. So, para tayong mga timang nito eh.
Opo.
Yun ang sinasabi ko, ang timang-timang naman ng foreign policy ni BBM, especially when you talk about relating to the two superpowers at the moment. So
Opo.
yun yun.
Prof, maraming salamat po sa inyong oras at panahon ngayong gabi. Sa ulitin po, ingat po kayo.